Hi, everyone. Steve Adubato. We kick off the program with an in-depth interview that my colleague, Mary Gamba. Mary is the co-host of our sister series, Lessons in Leadership. We sat down and talked to Carlos Medina, President and CEO of the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. We talked to Carlos about his leadership journey, board leadership, and also a series that Carlos has on public broadcasting called Que Pasa New Jersey. Carlos Medina, check it out. Carlos, good to see you, buddy.
Always a pleasure to see you, Steve.
Listen, first, before we get into leadership, can you promote Que Pasa?
Sure. I'm on season 6 of Que Pasa. It airs on Saturdays, 9 in the morning. Next episode will be a Father's Day special airing in a week and a half. And it'll be a fun episode.
Great. And we'll also put up the website so people can find out more, and also broadcast with our partners at PBS. Hey, Carlos, talk to us about this. Your leadership journey, pretty unique. Describe it.
Sure. I was somebody who grew up with a very strict father, so I'm sure you could appreciate that.
Just a little bit.
So going to law school was not an option in my house. I was going to law school, and it was a struggle. I was shy. I wasn't a public speaker like I've been forced to be now. I still get nervous getting in front of folks. But Dad was very aggressive. And then fast forward to the chamber being in crisis. I was an attorney working at an engineering firm, and we were $300,000 in the hole. Our founder became ill, and somebody had to step forward. And I sat with Dad, and Dad was like, I think it's a good thing to do, but, sit with your family, let them know the additional hours you're going to be working. And, I'm glad I did. That's probably the moment that changed my life the most, was joining the chamber, helping turn them around.
Yeah, let me follow up on that. Mary, Mary will jump in a second. So without getting back on a soapbox, I was saying that when you lead an organization, particularly a nonprofit, 300 grand in the hole, right? You step in. I was saying, and I believe this, even with great partners like Mary, who's an exceptional leader, that very often leadership, when you're having to make budget, is lonely. Is that just me crying the blues, or do you think it's true?
It's true. I was picking up the phone call, to call friends. I called friends from high school. And I think at some point people stopped picking up the call because it probably got around the community. Carlos is looking to save the chamber. Don't pick up. Hey, Sam, if he's about to call you, I'm just giving you the heads up. That was tough. I mean, we had people leave the board when they saw the finances, which was, we need their time, we need their treasure. And they're taking both away and saying, we're packing up our lunchbox and going home. So that was tough. But at the end of the day, if I had to use a phrase, or, it's all about relationships, Steve. That's what saved me. That's what saved the chamber. And that's always been in my life. I'm a big proponent that you need to, nurture your relationships. There's a friend of mine named Ted Rubin who says, relationships are the new currency. So instead of ROI, he likes to say ROR, return on relationship.
Yeah. Your friend's a smart guy, because Mary and I have built this organization through our relationships, and also our relationships with a great team that we have. Go ahead, Mary.
It's funny you mention relationships, Carlos. With our new up-and-coming leaders, our younger 20-something leaders, Steve has sons in their 20s. I have 2 sons, a 20 and a 23-year-old. How do you recommend to these young leaders up-and-coming to build relationships when so much of what they do is just like we're doing right now, on Zoom, on Teams? And how do you build relationships in this, and on the phone, in this type of format?
I'm not shy, Mary. So I have a 22-year-old daughter who you'll see on that episode. She joins me on the Father's Day episode. So she wants to be a Broadway performer in musical theater. So I'm just like,
Carlos.
Go ahead, Mary.
My son is at NYU Tisch right now studying to be an actor.
So we have to have a coffee with the kids.
Definitely.
Yeah, my daughter graduated Marymount Manhattan.
Yes.
In musical theater.
Congrats.
So she comes on the show. I've introduced her to, Mandy Gonzalez from Broadway, Christopher Jackson. So she's met some really great people. So it's just I'm aggressive with her. I'm like, you have to come to this cocktail party with me because you're going to meet a producer that could perhaps open a door for you. But I do struggle with the 20-something-year-olds are so different than the three of us that are on camera right now. I mean, it's such a different world. They don't build relationships. It's all digital. So I think there's a big disconnect in that generation. But those that can embrace it there's no stopping them. You know, like Steve's kids, automatically having Steve as a dad, they're going to have networks. They're going to know how to network.
or they don't want their dad getting involved.
And my wife, Jennifer, watches occasionally. Jen, I know you accuse me of trying to micromanage our kids' lives, which is a euphemism for Nick, Chris, Olivia, my older son, Stephen. Here's what you need to do. You need to call so-and-so. No, I'm going to text them. No, you need to call so-and-so and have a real conversation. They don't know what they don't know. And I know they push back. But Carlos, this is a leadership and parenting question. Do we let them fail or fall, however it's going to play out, even when we know that they need to do this thing? We're not trying to control them, but help them understand that it isn't all digital. And texting is not talking. Go ahead,
I think
Carlos.
we have to let them have little stumbles, Steve. You know, not a long fall from a high building, but I think occasionally you have to let them. My daughter is my personality, so she's so stubborn that if I tell her, I think automatically she already has an inclination to say no just because it's coming out of my mouth. So I have to let her organically come to the same conclusion by supporting her as best I can. But yeah, it's a challenge.
Carlos, I've said to Steve a million times, I said, you need to let them fail. If you always are there to catch them, as long as it's nothing ethical, immoral, illegal, dangerous, let them fail, because if not, they're not going to learn if you're always there to just scoop them right up.
All right, so we're stop talking about my issues with my kids. All right, Mary, last question.
Carlos, I did read in a lot. We do our research before these shows, and you are a self-professed storyteller. Where did your passion come from? I mean, we just saw it now for the past 9-10 minutes. Where does your passion for storytelling? Because at the way beginning of this segment, you shared that you get nervous sometimes with public speaking, but you're also a storyteller. Where does that connection come from?
It's a weird conflict that I experienced. Dad was an amazing storyteller, to the point that as he was getting older and his memory was failing, some people might, like in a party, come and say, "Save me, your dad's told me the story 100 times." So I then become a little nervous. I'm conscious, like, be careful, Carlos, you don't want to be. So then I kind of become more, retrospective. I become a little more inward, and I'm not as aggressive because I'm like, wait, I don't want to be harassing folks. But I love storytelling. I loved hearing Dad's stories and the way, he could command the crowd and people would just circle him and appreciate his knowledge. It's just the rush that I can't explain when you have a good conversation with somebody.
Hey, Carlos, you're doing important work at the Chamber, the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and also with Que Pasa, New Jersey, seen with our great friends and broadcast partners at NJ, PBS, and go online. It'll be up one more time so people to see past episodes. Carlos, wishing you and your team all the best. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
You got to stay with us. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by New Jersey Sharing Network, Hackensack Meridian Health, United Airlines, Kane University, Newark Board of Education, PSEG Foundation, Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, and by Operating Engineers, Local 825. Promotional support provided by NJ.com and by New Jersey Globe.
You are your child's best advocate. No one cares more about your child's health, safety, development, and well-being more than you. Empower yourself with the vaccination information you need to make the best decisions for your child. Hackensack Meridian Health can help. Learn more about fact-based information at hackensackmeridianhealth.org/vaccine-facts, and always talk to your child's pediatrician.